Hey guys, and welcome to my channel and welcome to Vlogmas Day 4. So if you watched my previous video, I mentioned that I want to bring more travel content to my channel, but in a more informative way. In the past, I've done a lot of travel vlogs, which I still will be doing, don't get me wrong, but I want to be more informative and helping, new time travelers or first time travelers kind of navigate the world of traveling internationally, because that is something that is like more talked about in society recently, and people are kind of like, okay, how do I do it? So if that's you, make sure to keep watching and give this video a big thumbs up, as well as subscribe for more travel related content. So one of the things that a lot of people do know about traveling internationally, of course, is that you do need a passport. But what they don't know is that you need to make sure that your passport will be valid for 6 months after your travel. So if you're planning on traveling in January, you need to make sure that your passport is going to still be valid up until July, or else you're going to run into a situation of not being able to get into the country or issues returning. And nobody wants to deal with that when you're just trying to go on a family vacation or a little cute getaway and now you're stuck and you can't go. Just make sure to look out for this and plan accordingly. With the passport thing as well, make sure that the country you're visiting doesn't require a visa, or if they do require a visa, make sure to get one beforehand. I know it is a long and daunting process. I personally never had to get a visa for a country that I visited, but I do know that a lot of people do. I just haven't gotten to those countries yet, and so I'm not really familiar with the process or like how long it would take, but just to get like a standard passport is about 6 weeks, so I would assume a visa is probably the same amount. So plan accordingly, because you don't want to get held up again at the airport without having the right documents. Another thing with traveling internationally is I recommend that you watch the flight that you're trying to take months in advance. That will be a lifesaver, because that's when you get the best deals. And I know there's a lot of talk on TikTok that like if you book your flight like 6 weeks in advance from the travel day, that's the best price. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I do try to book my flights for a trip about 2 months in advance, a month and a half, so kind of around that time. Just make sure that you're watching the price of the flights, because flight prices change so sporadically. One day it'll be $300, the next day it could be $80. You never know. So I would recommend getting like alerts. I use Google Flights for all my flight trips, or I'll book through my travel credit card, which I'll get into a little later in the video if you're interested. So yes, just watch those flight prices to get the best deal. Everyone can travel on a budget. I promise you, you can. You just need to figure out the right way to do it. So another thing that I recommend for first-time travelers and just anyone traveling in general internationally is to make sure that you exchange your money in your home country. There's a lot of speculations and a lot of people out there that will say, just wait until you get to your destination and then exchange your money. Do not do that. The exchange rate is way better when you do it in your home country. I promise you, it's the best deal ever. I have been caught lacking a couple times, don't get me wrong, and I just like wait till the last minute and I have to do it in the country that I'm going to visit. But I'm telling you, it's way better and you'll get way more for your money's worth if you just do it in your home country. So please, please, please do that. Staying on the topic of money, I recommend bringing different forms of payment when you're traveling internationally, because I have been caught lacking again, and some of my cards don't work in other countries. Like when I went to Mexico, I think it was my PNC debit card did not work there. So I was forced to use my other credit cards, or like credit cards in general, but good thing I had them. And those went through, but also not all of my credit cards worked. I don't think Capital One worked. Like, you just don't want to get caught in a sticky situation of not being able to pay for your food, your taxi, anything. So bring different forms of payment. It will save you, I promise you. Again, some of your cards might not work at certain places, and also a lot of places I've gone where I've used public transportation, they require cash, and that's the only that they take. So you don't want to be down bad and all you have are cards and they're like, we only take cash, like, and you just got in this taxi and now you got your destination and they're like, where's my money? We don't want those issues. So just make sure that you diversify the payments that you bring on vacation. And I recommend bringing debit cards, credit cards, and cash. Just personally, I just don't want to ever get caught lacking. So while we're still on the topic of money, I also wanted to put this in there because I know this is like a sensitive topic and it's gonna apply to just everyday life in general. But a lot of places that I've gone traveling, especially in Europe, they will put everyone's bill together and they can't split it up. They can't do multiple checks. They automatically just group them together. So if you're traveling with a group of people who don't like that, you know, it's like, oh, I'll pay and you guys can all cash at me. Make sure you're traveling with some trustworthy people. That's all I'm gonna say on that, because they will group it and like I said, they can't split it up. So that is something to remember when you're traveling, and do with that information what you will. With also letting your bank know that you're traveling, I would also recommend letting your phone company or your phone provider know that you're traveling as well, because like me, I have Verizon and they have an international phone plan already included in my monthly bill. So depending on where I'm traveling, sometimes I won't even have to pay any extra fees for using my phone. But there are places where, like, you know, I gotta pay the extra $10 a day fee. I think that's what it is. That's what is also included if I'm traveling outside of the international phone plan that I have, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'll have to pay about $10 a day to use my phone and all its capabilities. I know some people do get a SIM card, so that is another option. I've never personally got a SIM card while I was traveling. I do want to try that out though one time, just to see if I prefer that over paying the $10 a day. But that is also an alternative to paying the $10. So those are just two options that are kind of widely known for using your phone internationally. So if you're someone like me who is always on their phone 24/7 and can't go without their phone, I would recommend looking into these two options because they are the most efficient and the easiest, in my opinion, to be able to use your phone in all its glory and not get charged with extra fees. I would die if I got charged any extra fees. So definitely recommend looking into those options. I also recommend getting an adapter for the outlets, because listen, the last thing you want to do is your phone is on 3% and you need a charger and your adapter ain't fitting into the outlets because it's not the same like system. Do not be that person. I recommend getting like a universal one from Amazon. I can link it down below for you guys. Since it is universal, you can just buy one and no matter where you go, you'll have the right adapter. So definitely get that, because like I said, you don't want to be caught lacking. And if you're like me, someone who's on their phone 24/7, a dead phone is not cute. It is not cute and it just never will be cute. So definitely look into that. So my next two things kind of go hand in hand a little bit. One, I would say if you're traveling internationally, do not, and I repeat and I stress so much, do not drink the tap water. So I live in the US. I don't know where a lot of you guys are tuning in from, but I visited other countries and it's always been stressed that don't drink the tap water because it's way different than the US's water system and it will get you sick. I personally never gotten sick from it because I've never drank it, but I don't know the extremities of like if you were to drink it, or like if you're going to be on your deathbed, or if it's just like a little cold or a little cough, or I don't know what it is, but it's always a stress to me to never drink the tap water. So I would recommend everyone just not drink the tap water, just drink bottled water. But with that also being said, I've never kind of understood it because like you can't ingest it, but like we shower with the water. I don't know if that's different. I don't know if it's different because you're ingesting it. I don't know. But the point is, just don't drink the tap water. Just leave it alone. Just drink the bottles of water and you'll be good. You'll be great. So with not drinking the tap water and it getting you sick, I would also recommend bringing like medications when you're traveling, especially for a lot of first-time travelers. I don't know if it's just because you're entering like a new climate space for the first time, but a lot of first-time travelers do get sick traveling abroad, and you do not want to get stuck on your vacation puking your guts out. You just don't want to do that. So I would recommend bringing medications. You can definitely buy it when you get there if you do fall sick or whatever, but I just personally would prefer to just bring my own. I don't know, that's just who I am. I just prefer to have my own items. So definitely keep this in mind if it is your first time traveling. this is something to look out for. Another thing I recommend doing before traveling internationally is to kind of familiarize yourself with the country you're visiting's laws. I'm not saying to know like the back of your hand, because I don't even know the US's laws like that, and I live here, so there's that. But I do know some people do like to drive when they visit other places. I'm not that type of person because I'm already a nervous driver in the US, so I don't need to get caught driving on the other side of the road and just messing traffic up. I don't need that on my conscience personally. But if you are going to drive, it would be best to familiarize yourself with a couple of the laws, just so you know you don't mess up traffic and like cause a whole scene and you're not getting pulled over, or any mishaps with the police system abroad. Nobody wants that. That is a nightmare, and I wish that upon no one. So definitely do that. So that is all the tips and advice that I have for anyone who is interested in traveling internationally for the first time, or who hasn't really traveled that much internationally. I hope this video was very informative, and I hope that everyone who's watching this travels the entire world, because I feel like everyone deserves that opportunity, because there's so much to see out there, and don't let anything stop you. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, as well as subscribe. And if you have any other video ideas that you want, or any questions you have regarding travel, make sure to drop it down below, and I will try to get to it in a timely manner. So yeah, that's all I have, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 5.